Hello everybody, I'm Chris Williams. It's Thursday the 19th of August 2010. YouTube have increased the maximum size that videos can be from 10 minutes to 15 minutes, but I don't think I'll be using the full 15 minutes in this video. Right. After my opening scenes and after the obligatory commercial break for my sister's sticker and trading card business, I'm going to be talking about knife crime here in the United Kingdom. Like many of you, I'm a fan of Adulthood. You might not be able to see that too clearly, but the reduced in price sticker, which shows that I got it for £4.99, so I'll hold it this way. So yeah, Adulthood, you might be familiar with it. It's the Noel Clarke film, the sequel to Kidulthood. I haven't seen Kidulthood, but I saw Adulthood and I thought it was quite good. I also saw in recent times Noel Clarke's other film, 4321. Can't wait for that to come out on DVD. And the reason why I saw this, and also 4321, is because I feel it's very contemporary, particularly with what's going on in the big inner cities here in the United Kingdom these days, particularly with black young men who, of course, without meaning to be sound racist here, but they leave school with no qualifications, no employment hopes, so they turn to drugs and to crime, and in particular gun crime and knife crime. And while we're talking about knife crime, that brings me on to some research which I've done here in my accommodation, 31 Road, Cathays, Cardiff, CF10 3EE. You still won't know, even from the internet, what road I live in, but I went but, right, here's something I want to show you, right. Here is my knife, right. This is what I cut my cucumber with, and when I feel angry, I like to stab this knife into a towel, and I notice that no matter how much force you apply, the knife doesn't go through the towel, it just bends the blade. So that's interesting. Like, I think to myself, oh, well, if I went psycho and I have Asperger's, I'm not far off psycho, you might be thinking. But no, in fact, if I were to go and stab somebody, it's not about the size of the blade, it appears, but the speed in which you force it in. But I have no intention of killing people. No, that won't get me anywhere, but it will get me to prison, of course. But you know what I mean. You don't benefit from going around stabbing people, and that's the background message to this video. I'm trying to say, what is the point of carrying knives around the room? But as you're about to see in a moment, what is the point of knives being so large? So yes, this is my kitchen knife, which I use to cut cucumber. Cucumber is the most difficult object for me to cut. In fact, to be honest, it's the only thing I do cut in terms of food. But I've noticed from my research around the accommodation that there are bigger knives in existence. Right, so here's my knife. Here's a knife I just found in the kitchen. You can see the blade is double the length of my knife. Well, why? No, this is fine for me. No, I don't need any bigger than this. But the kitchen has got this in it. Now, I suppose with this being long, you could cause someone a serious injury with this, because the blade roughly the same thickness. So what I was saying about the blade flexing when you apply force, now, it will flex at the end, I suppose, but it's so large that handle is big as well. I know that the bigger the area, the handle, the easier it is for you to grip and apply force to stab someone with. So you might cause some slight injury with my small knife. With this knife, you're definitely gonna cause the person to lose a serious amount of blood. So I would say that this size knife is completely unreasonable. If you want to cut cucumber or peel potatoes or cut a piece of cake, this is the sensible knife. This here is just a stupid knife. I don't see why this should exist. But it gets worse. Here, well, I think this is technically a cleaver. It goes like roughly the same length as this big knife I just showed you, but much fatter. I hope no one in my accommodation is going to go and commit crime with these knives, but they've now got my fingerprints on them. But no, so we've got my small reasonable knife, this big unreasonable knife, and this cleaver to some extent. I suppose you'll use this to cut meat, because you only really need it if you work in a butcher, and this is a private accommodation block. This isn't a butcher's, so why would someone living with me need this? No, this is what you need for industrial food manufacturing purposes. So no need for this to be on the market, in my opinion. And the fourth and final big unreasonable, this is really unreasonable now, this one here, I don't know if you're going to be able to see this on my dodgy webcam, which I agree with you, the footage from my webcam is totally rubbish. If I boost it to high resolution, the computer will crash. Right? So coming in from the side, wow, this could cut my head off, but so big. As you can see, then in comes the long handle, so much longer handle than the previous knife I was showing, but this blade, enough to cut my head off, and totally unreasonable. This is the sort of knife you'd expect jihadists to have in Iraq, not the sort of knife you'd use for your dinner. And of course, it's this kind of knife, this kind of knife, and this kind of knife, which the young men in inner city areas like London are carrying around, and they're saying to people, "Get off my territory, or I'll stick this in you." That's something. And we've heard on the news in recent times that there's been big gangs of them. I know that someone was murdered at Victoria train station a few months ago, and they arrested in excess of 25 school pupils on suspicion of being involved in the knife attack. All to do with territories. People saying, "Get off my territory." Don't they realise at the end of the day, the council and the politicians own the territory, not the kids? And it's just stupid games. And of course, as I say, they don't need to be carrying those knives around. They're not going to do improvised dinner on the spot when they're out and about, are they? Those knives are just for killing people. They shouldn't exist. The people should not be carrying them around. If you're going to be, as I say, if you're going to be doing some proper cooking, then you should keep them in your kitchen. But in reality, the only knife that you do need for dinner purposes, and dinner purposes only, is my small standard size knife. I reckon if you try and stab someone with this, then you'll draw very little blood. I doubt it'll cause serious injury, assuming it's applied to the torso, because it's applied to the face, and you will have some kind of serious injury. There have been times where I've come very close to drop it, and I've come close to dropping this, and if I drop it now, it'll land on my leg, and you'll think instantaneously, "Oh no, I'm going to stab myself in the leg with it," because turns out that doesn't happen. It just bounces off your leg, and you think, "Wow, that's amazing. The blade touched my leg, but I haven't got any blood coming at me," that sort of thing. Whereas those bigger knives, that's the sort of you find the circuit. You go, you throw them, and you've got the traditional woman on the spinning wheel that amazes the people. So yes, I think that there would be no knife crime. Well, obviously there would be no knife crime if big unreasonable knives like what you just saw didn't exist. I think there should be a minimum standard size of knife, preferably this size, and even then you shouldn't be able to just go into the shop and just buy it off the shelf as you see it. You should ask the person behind the counter to give it to you, and you should also provide proof of your age, so that there is then no ambiguity of you getting involved in crime and using the knife for illegal purposes. The guy who lives across the way from me, he's come from Libya, and he's going to be doing food technology. Of course, Libya, of course, home of Abdel Basit al-Megrahi and other suspected terrorists. I was thinking to myself, well, for all I know, my Libyan friend, he could be a terrorist, but I doubt it. He seems perfectly nice and friendly, but he does food technology. Well, does that mean that he's brought big, unreasonably large bladed knives into the country in his suitcase? I doubt it, and of course, I hope not. But of course, knives are what terrorists use, and knives are what food technology people use as well. So you can't be too sure. I'm just stereotyping here, but he seems perfectly friendly, so I'm sure that that is not the case. And these knives here were in my accommodation before he arrived, but essentially, what I'm saying is that I really don't think that he has got as unreasonably sized knives as what I just showed you. But of course, if he were a terrorist, then he would have proper big sized knives like that. I'm getting a bit detracted on enough. I'm effectively accusing my friend of being a terrorist just because he's from a rogue nation. But I really don't think that is the case. I'm just getting myself tongue-tied now over the idea of him being a food technologist where he will be using knives, and the fact that he's from a rogue nation where terrorists might be inclined to use knives. But essentially, I think that the world's obsession with knives should end. No, you should only use knives, this type of knife, for dinner. Big knives like this should be banned, and if not banned, then they should be your access to them should be severely restricted, and not just in London, but in also other heavily populated cities around the world, like New York and Tokyo. Okay, I think I've just about got at what I was planning to say in this video blog. I hope you'll join me for more videos over the next few days, weeks, and months. I could do a video actually about why I think guns are pointless, but hey, I think I'll leave that for some other time. Okay, when I press stop on this, I'll find out how close I am to the 15-minute YouTube limit, but I hope you'll join me for more videos over the next few days, weeks, and months. Until next time, it's bye for now. Bye bye.